It was May of 1861. The Civil War was just over a month old, and three brave men, Frank Baker, Shepard Mallory, and James Townsend, enslaved field hands assigned to work on the Confederate fortification at Sewell's Point, decided the time had come to seek their freedom.
These three men made the decision to commandeer a boat and go across Hampton Roads Harbor at night, very dangerous crossing, and make to Fort Monroe. They had the courage to go up to the sentry and ask to see the commandant, General Benjamin F. Butler.
General Butler, who'd only been in charge of Fort Monroe a day, declared them contraband of war. His actions would move America toward the Emancipation Proclamation. The men were put to work at the fort, but it wasn't long before the word spread that Fort Monroe was a place fugitive slaves could find refuge. Within a year's time, more than 7,000 men, women, and children were making their way to the place they called Freedom's Fort. They left their plantations by the hundreds, but there was a problem. There was no way Fort Monroe could hold them all.
So two camps were established, one near Fort Monroe, often called Slab Town. They called that because the cabins that were built were made of slab wood. Another one was right outside of the town of Hampton, and you have this beginning of freedom.
16 months after Baker, Mallory, and Townsend made their way to Fort Monroe, President Abraham Lincoln issued a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which required Southern states to cease their rebellion by January 1st of 1863, or all persons held as slaves in those rebel states would be forever free. When the Confederate Army refused, a second emancipation was issued, abolishing slavery and paving the way for blacks to serve in the Union Army and Navy.
In fact, by the end of the Civil War, a large part of the Union Army at the end of the war at Appomattox were composed of black men and boys, soldiers, and they helped win not only their freedom, but they helped preserve the Union.
For WHRO Public Media, I'm Lisa Godley.